Welcome to the Generation Elevation podcast, a conscious, connected platform for those who are ready to manifest their dream life. I'm your host, Elise Riley, a former PT, now motivational speaker, igniting empowerment and transformation all across the globe. Here at Generation Elevation, we are committed to bringing you the most inspiring guests who will share their stories, wisdom, and advice to help you progress closer to living a life of your own terms.
Welcome back to another episode of Generation Elevation. Today I am joined with a special guest up here on the Gold Coast. And before I do introduce this guest with you today, make sure if you are new to this podcast, hello and welcome. Making sure that you are following Generation Elevation on iTunes, Spotify, and if you're enjoying this episode and any of the other episodes I have available, make sure to leave a 5-star review if you're listening on iTunes, or even just sharing it on your social media. That would be kindly appreciated. I'm super grateful for everyone listening and your support. Let's get into the episode. So today I'm joined with a passionate surfer and skydiver. He is the owner of Beith Building and Total Concept Pools. He has found success in real estate. He is an amazing friend of Simon and I, and I'm super grateful to have him here on the show. Now, if you have been listening to my podcast for a while now, you would have known Simon way back a few episodes ago. And I am super excited to have and introduce to you today Eddie Beith on the show. Welcome, Eddie.
Welcome. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. And like I said, I'm super excited to get into it. Your journey is inspiring, and I only know half of the story. So I'm excited to really get into the depths of that and share that with everyone today.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's go. Okay, so I'm curious to know, where'd you grow up?
Grew up in Torquay or Jan Juc, Victoria, in a little coastal town where Bells Beach is.
Beautiful. And what was your family like?
Amazing. Such a good mum and dad. Brother Charlie, mum Libby, dad Gary. Really good family.
Are you the oldest, youngest, middle child?
I'm the youngest, but I'm smallest.
What's your favourite food?
Chicken Kiev.
Chicken Kiev. And what are you grateful for today?
My lovely wife.
Your lovely wife. What's her name?
Perry.
Perry, for everyone listening. Hello, Perry, if she's listening. She'll probably be. Yeah. All right, cool. So you grew up in Torquay and then you have created success in real estate. So there's a bit of a gap in between there. So what was your school life growing up?
So I went to a private school in Geelong College, a prissy little private school. I went to a Torquay primary school first. Yeah. Made like my really cool friends there when I was a kid. Then we went off to Geelong College. Definitely wasn't for me, that's for sure.
How come? Why do you say that?
Oh, just like come from a little surfy town, and it's very, very like strict rules and just very private school kind of stuff, and it just wasn't me. It wasn't for me at all. Yeah. I don't think it was ever going to work for me. I never wanted to go to school. I hated it.
Really?
Spent more time wagging.
Oh, yeah. Did you finish school or did you drop out early?
I dropped out of school.
Yeah. What year?
I think it was year 10 or something. Yeah, left school to do my carpentry apprenticeship.
Yeah, awesome. And so is that what kind of grew into then real estate beyond that?
Yeah, it was always when I was a kid, Simon used to come down. I can't even remember how young I was. Like as young as I can remember, Simon would come down from Queensland and always looked up to Simon, and he'd be talking about stuff he was doing, and I'd be like, fuck, I really want to do that when I'm older. And that was the pathway that was always going to work for me. Yes, it was always going to be choosing to either become a real estate agent or become a builder, and carpentry was like the path for me to choose to get there. So that's how I chose that.
Yeah, amazing. And so how specifically do you actually know Simon?
He's my uncle.
Right. What? Oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't know that. That is so funny. Well, there you go. There you have it. Okay, so he would come down, and obviously, like for those that have listened to Simon's podcast, and to create a visual, like he looks like an old school Jimmy Barnes, like rock star guy. So he's quite like himself and authentic and super confident in who he is. And definitely. So he's definitely not like the usual typical uncle that you would have for sure.
Definitely not, no.
So obviously you've had Simon growing up, and what I guess, about him inspired you to then go down that path that you're here now doing?
To be completely honest, that was always for the money and the freedom, to be honest. Like I seen like financial success, freedom, being able to do whatever you wanted, whenever you wanted. And he was always happy. And that's kind of what drove me to do it. I just wanted to be happy, successful, be able to do what I wanted when I wanted to do it.
Mm-hmm. And so for you, financial freedom, would you say that you've achieved that now?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
I would, yeah.
And what would be like your biggest achievements or successes or something that you were like always working towards that you've created?
To be honest, I was always so money driven and everything was money, making money, doing everything I could to do that. And I was just head down bump for so long. And then I feel like it's so easy to do that and forget about happiness. And that was always the drive, to make money and be free and do whatever you wanted, whenever the fuck you wanted to do it. Mm. And it took over, and it just took over so strongly that all I was doing was work, find the next deal, do whatever I could to make more money. And then you get there, you get the success, you get what you want, you get the fucking cars, the boats, the jet skis, and you're a fucking miserable cunt. It's amazing how quickly you can not notice that. Like you just go straight past you and then you're miserable and you're like, how am I going to fix this? And
so I hear it in your voice, obviously speaking from experience, like what has been your journey then going inside with that mental health?
Yeah, there's so much to cap on. Like it's always been a thing that like everyone's known I've had ADHD, but never actually got diagnosed with it.
When did you get diagnosed?
I think I was 27.
27,
yeah,
right.
30 now.
How did you know, or what made you go, all right, I'm going to go get diagnosed or check in and see?
My business really picked up at about that age. It really went from kind of 0 to 100 like really fast, almost overnight. And it was all of a sudden you got all these guys working for you, a million jobs coming through, trying to manage everything. And I was like, fuck me. Like it was all right before when it was just Eddie and a couple of guys on the tools, but I'm trying to run this fucking business and I can't concentrate. I'm trying to do a million things at once. I don't have any systems. I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, there's something fucking wrong with me. And then I was like, fuck it, I'm going to go get tested. So when I did all the tests, all the shit you have to go through, and got diagnosed with ADHD and medicated instantly. And that's what fucked me up.
Why? How so?
I felt like I had like a history of drug use when I was younger, and then I was given like all these like ADHD medication. It's like speed. And I was so like not into that anymore. Like that, my life was fully not about that shit. And it just made me feel so fucked up, so speedy. It was almost just like brought everything back up. And it was just too much medication too fast. And it almost sent me to a mental breakdown.
So tell me a little bit about your previous experience, early experiences that you had with like drug use and back in the day.
So as a youngin', always doing naughty things, doing dumb shit, always, chasing the next whack and make money, whatever that may be. And then do all these cool things to make money. And then all of a sudden selling drugs was easy to make money. And then when you start using drugs, you're like, for me, it was like drugs like speed or that kind of thing. They would calm me down and it made me feel normal, which is like why Ritalin works for people with ADHD. And it was very easy when you're young to get involved in that kind of shit and think everyone else is all speedy, bouncing off the walls, and I'm just feeling normal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't really know how to explain it. It's a hard feeling if you haven't felt that.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure people listening right now would be resonating even. So, yeah, I'm curious to know, like, what had been your journey then from, like, being heavily in that scene to then getting out of it?
So, yeah, I was heavily in that scene, like having fun, partying, going out, clubbing, late to work all the time. Then it was just like, and then it just kind of takes over. Like, then you just want to party more, take more drugs, not go to work, and then it's pretty easy for it to get your claws in, to be honest. And then I remember sitting down with my mum and dad, and they were like, you need to fucking go. And it was the best thing they ever did for me. They were like, off you go, pack your fucking bags, we're going. And me and dad drove to Queensland, moved in with Simon.
Wow.
And that was the end of an era.
So tell me about that period of your life where you were living with Simon.
It was sick.
Yeah.
It was really interesting. When I first moved up, I was still a bit of a rat bag. Still fucking up a little bit, like I hasn't quite found myself, like I just moved up and didn't know what to do. And I remember sitting on the bench and Simon slapped me over the face. And he goes, I always admired you when you were
He slapped you? Or?
Fully slapped me, like nearly broke my fucking jaw. And he looked at me, he slapped me over the side of the face and he goes, I always looked up to you. And he goes, I've never said that I look up to someone younger than me, but I was really proud of what you were going to become. And he goes, you're a fucking piece of shit.
Wow.
You're never going to achieve nothing the way you're going. And that was the end for me. Changed my life then.
Wow. And so what changed in you in that moment? Like, what did you then decide?
Well, even since I was a kid, I always knew where I wanted to be, and the journey I took to get there went off track a little bit here and there, but it would just snap me straight back into the journey, like head down, bum up, with exactly where I wanted to be.
How old were you in that moment when you was like, all right, I've got to change?
19.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so, you just put your head down, bum up and started working. Is that when you created Total Concept Pools or Beith?
No, before that was EB Carpentry.
Okay.
And before that, when I first moved up, I worked for Matt, which is my other uncle, who's another mad dog. I worked for him and I was fucking up at the time, and I'm pretty sure what spiked for Simon to slap me in the face was me fucking up at work and just being useless. And then Matt sacked me. Wow. He's like, catch you later. And I fucking deserved it too. I'd be like chainsawing fucking with no shirt, no shoes on at East Mobile Home Park, just being a dickhead and just doing the dumbest shit.
Yeah.
And that was it for me. That was like the most life-changing event.
Wow. Okay, so then fast forward into like future whereby you got diagnosed with ADHD and then they put you on this medication, obviously taking you back to early days. Like, what was that experience like for you?
Basically what happened is I got really heavily medicated really fast, and I was like, so like my life was, everything's going good, and I just needed to help with concentrating. And when you've been like clean and sober for so long and doing the right thing and everything's going great, to cop medication that strong, and there was so many different types of medication. There was like Catapress, Ritalin, some other shit for all sorts of things. It was just too much. And to feel the feeling that you'd felt previously, which brings back bad memories, it just wasn't right. But I was like, the doctor was like, you need to persist, you need to take it for a course, you need to like run the course for 3 months. And I was just like so run down, like so up and down, just mentally drained. I was doing the complete opposite of what I was meant to. And I can't even explain how I felt, but it was just like, my soul had been sucked from me. And I was just I wasn't the right person. I wasn't bubbly. I was just numb. Just so this concoction of what they'd given me, it basically just fucked me up, and it just sent me into this almost mental breakdown. Yeah.
So you mentioned this before and earlier that you had a mental breakdown. What was that moment for you?
I just had like a normal day. Like that 3 months taking the medication was just a bit rocky. It was just like you're trying something new and it just never really worked. I remember it was almost 3 months in on the dot. I remember coming home. Nothing even really happened. Like the day was just normal. And I remember just falling in a heap in Perry's arms and just like bawling my eyes out in tears.
Wow.
And like hyperventilating. Like I'll never forget it. It was the most horrible feeling I've ever felt in my life. And I remember like, I felt like I need to go to hospital. Like it was almost like a panic attack, because I was so mentally not right for 3 months from it. When it all happened, it was just, I call it like my little mental breakdown. It was gnarly. And then I had to come off the drugs, and then you stop taking them, the medication, and then you have to like go through the withdrawals from it. It was just like going back to when I was 19, fucking up. And it was like the biggest, probably the worst things ever happened to me, probably the best as well. It just kind of like spiked me to be like, all right, I'm going to treat my shit without any medication and just go the natural way.
Yeah. Wow, that is so inspiring. And I'm sure like those that are listening are resonating in some way, shape or form in regards to like those tough times really helping you become the person you are today. And so I'm curious to know, Eddie, and I'm sure the listeners are too, in regards to like mental health and your journey, obviously being at such a low point in your life, what helped you get out of that?
Excellent question. I'm sure everyone that has ADD will know, like people with ADD need stimulation all the time, like things that stimulate you. And for me, I worked out, I remember talking to my mum and my mum's like, I remember like getting off the medication, coming good, feeling really good about myself. Everything was great. And I remember going to my mum, I had a really big week and the surf was pumping and I was like, I'm going the pin. Went toe surfing, and I remember going toe surfing for like from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Toe surfing, what's
like,
that?
With a jet ski, like going surfing. And I remember getting out of the car, had a billion missed calls and answered all the missed calls, all the emails, all the bullshit you have to deal with day to day running a business in like an hour. And it was a day's work. And my mum goes, well, obviously when you're happy, you can do things. And I was like, how do you mean? She's like, well, obviously when you're happy and you've had a great day, you can achieve anything. But when you're miserable and happy and not doing the things you love, you sit there and procrastinate and do a million things at once and achieve nothing, which people with ADHD do. And it was like the biggest fucking drop ball moment for me. I was like, how can I fucking do all the shit that I love every single day and get my work done? And like, for me, getting my work done is by doing things I love every day.
Mm-hmm.
So like, no matter what that is, like go for a drive in my cars, like go surfing, go for a skydive, like whatever the fuck it is that makes me happy, go for a walk in the morning with my wife. Doesn't matter what it is, but whatever it is for me to make me feel amazing allows me to then do all the work with ease.
So like run me through a typical day in the life of Eddie.
All varies. Like I generally get up, have a coffee and quickly do a bit of work on the computer. Then I'll either like try and go for a surf or do something that I enjoy. Like if I have a chance to go for a skydive mid of the week, I will. Otherwise I'll just go on Thursdays, do something that makes me happy.
Yeah.
And you can do that before 7:00 in summer.
Yeah.
It's that good. Like you do all the fun shit you want to do in your life and off you go to work at 7:00.
That's amazing.
So try and do it. Then I just generally go to my sites and do all my work, check all the boys, go see my amazing team.
How many people do you have working for you?
We have about 10 now.
Yeah.
Had a massive staff last year. It was just too much. But we have just a smaller crew now of 10 absolute fucking legends. Like
they're amazing. I've met some of them.
They're sick, can't say. They're so good. Love them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, check in with the crew, get some stuff done. Just generally just stuff you have to do as a builder. Just always something to do.
Yeah, right. Okay. And so I'm curious to know, what would be your advice then for those people listening who might not know exactly what it is yet that they love and they're not sure what they're passionate about? Maybe they are feeling a bit lost in life. What would be your advice for them?
Fucking stop what you're doing and find it. It's so important.
My question then is how? What's that step that you would take?
That's a super hard question. I feel like everyone in life has something that they have a passion for. Like forget work for now, but like you find something that you love doing, like whether it's a sport, whether it's cooking, whether it's doesn't even matter. Like whether it's exercise, sport, exercise, cooking, surfing, like fishing. There's so many amazing things people can do. It's endless of what you choose to be your hobby, but it doesn't matter what anyone else does. It's just you find what you love, find happiness in your life, and then attack what you want to do for money.
Hey guys, Elise here. I trust that you are getting heaps of value from today's episode. I have an announcement to make, but before I do that, I just wanted to express my gratitude for you right now. I see you and I appreciate you for tuning in to the Generation Elevation podcast. It means the world to me. And if you're new here, make sure to follow us on iTunes or Spotify, wherever you are listening from, to keep up to date with the latest episodes. Now, the announcement. Ooh. On the 31st of May, 2023, I'm going to be running a 6-week group challenge called Evolve. Now, Evolve is going to be based around focus, discipline, accountability, motivation, growth mindset, and leadership skills. Now, if you're someone that is wanting to become the best version of yourself this year, if you want to get to next year, this time next year, and look back and go, wow, I've grown so much. I did that thing that I really wanted to do rather than staying in the same place that you are now, Evolve is for you. If you're feeling a little bit lost, unclear, stuck, stagnant, Evolve is for you. If you keep self-sabotaging those goals of yours, if you have fears and limiting beliefs holding you back, Evolve is for you. Starting on the 31st of May, weekly group calls, 6 p.m. Wednesdays, Gold Coast time. Evolve is for you. Replay access available. So times do not matter because you will have access to these videos at any time. You'll have access one-on-one with me. And what makes my coaching different to everybody else is that I have a holistic approach. My background of nutrition and training, and then my mindset aspect with my master practitioner qualifications in hypnosis and NLP. And then we have the soul aspect, breath work, meditations, past life regressions. If this is resonating with you, trust yourself, trust your discernment. Evolve is for you. And I have a special offer for those listening in right now. If you are keen on Evolve and you're listening to this podcast, for all Generation Elevation listeners, you guys get a special discount and gift when signing up. The discount is the price usually is $888 for the 6 weeks Australian dollars. But for you, if you're listening to this right now, if you use the code and DM me in Instagram, Generation Elevation Pod, POD, and you write Evolve underneath, I will give this course to you for $333 Australian dollars. If it's something that resonates, DM me right now and let's evolve. I really love that answer, and I think this is going to tie in with what I wanted to ask next as well, because I know many people listening to this will have something in mind that they've wanted to try for ages. Maybe it is skydiving. Maybe it is like going around doing some hot laps in a nice car kind of thing, or maybe it is starting that business. Maybe it is like applying or going for a practice match or applying for a team or applying for an audition. Like there's so many things that people listening, I know in the back of their mind, they want to do, yet they haven't done it yet. And I'm curious to hear your perspective around fear and limiting beliefs holding others back. So for example, if someone listening, they have a goal, but they might believe, oh, like I need to do this first, or I'm not good enough yet, or I'm letting fear get in the way, what would then be your advice for those people?
My shortest answer would be get off your fucking ass and do it. Do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Don't let anything get in your way. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. That would be the first thing I'd say. But fear's a really funny thing. Like it's not something that's a problem for me, but it's a problem for so many people. But I'm not saying that things don't give me fear or stress.
Yeah.
But you just need to get out of your comfort zone, I feel. No matter what you do. It doesn't matter if it's business or fun. Step out of your comfort zone daily.
Yeah, I love that answer. It's definitely what I preach with my clients as well. And I wanted to tie this in as well with what we said prior to recording too in regards to like ADD and Tourette's as well. And I'd love to hear your perspective with your story and labels and things like this, because I know some people listening may have also experienced this label of what they've got or what they've been born with and have let that hold them back.
Yeah.
However, your story is different, and I'd love to hear your perspective on that.
We touched this briefly before we started, and it was like one of the things I said was hack what you got. Like everyone's got something that's amazing for them, and for me, it was unfortunately fucking Tourette's and ADHD.
Yeah. So what's been your experience with Tourette's? Like,
it's a very frustrating thing to have. Like sometimes I won't have any twitches that are noticeable. And then other times I'll have these like crazy facial arm twitches, which I have at the moment. And they're so fucking annoying. But you just got to roll with it, bro. Like there's nothing you can do about it. You can go and it's all this, you can get these weird injections and shit that will fuck you up, but I just didn't want to go down that path, like Botox injections and stuff. Heaps of ways around it, but you just got to fucking own what you got. Be like, fuck, I got this problem. That's me. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, is it actually a problem or is it a superpower?
It's definitely a superpower. Sometimes you got to let people know, like if you're in a meeting, like, oh, just so you know, I got Tourette's. I'm not a crackhead. But I'd say ADHD is more of a superpower than Tourette's for sure. That's a crazy one. It's like a little bit of a negative, but it's also the biggest positive ever if you know how to hack it. Still learning on how to hack it.
That's okay. I think like everyone has their own journey and we all have like our villain that we face, and like I believe what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. What happens to you happens for you.
Yeah.
And so those times that you've experienced, like where you had your mental breakdown, obviously growing up and being different to everybody else, and that moment when Simon like punched you or slapped you and you were 19 just to wake you up and be like, hello, like you have so much potential. Like those moments have all like shaped you to who you are today, and the success that you've achieved, I believe, from what I've seen and heard today, it's come from those moments. Yeah,
like it's definitely back at the time, all those moments were negative to me. Every moment, one of those moments was like a pitiful moment of horror where you think your world's over, but those moments make you who you are today. They're probably some of the most important moments that you hate. that will change you forever. So embrace the negatives and turn the negatives into something that you want to be.
Yeah, I love that. And so let's talk about the real estate aspect. And you mentioned before, I think before we started recording, that most of your money these days is coming through real estate. And so my question to you is, for those listeners out there who want financial freedom for themselves, who want to live their best life, they want to go skydiving before 7 a.m. in the morning and drive their nice cars, like, what would be your top 3 tips for these people?
There's no better time than now. Buy now. The real estate market will always trend. It will always trend up. You look at any graph over the last 4 bazillion years, the trend is always up. There's always little ups and downs, but there's always up. There's like so many more parts in industry. I'll give you a few. Like,
that's okay.
Don't sit on your ass and go, oh, the interest rates are too high, I'll never be able to afford a home. Go out there and fucking get told no by 50 lenders and find a lender that'll give you the money. Because I promise you, anyone that takes this advice will come and in 2 years' time when they've done it, they'll go, fuck, I'm glad I did it. And they'll have 20 mates that are like, oh, it's too hard, I'll never get there. Doesn't matter how small it is. It can be the shittiest 1-bedroom fucking 20 square metre unit in any suburb that they don't want to live. But find some form of real estate and buy it. I guarantee you, whatever you buy, it'll cost you less money by not renting than it will cost you to buy. No better time than now. Just do it and don't beat yourself up and say it's too hard. And yeah, once you got your first one, look for your next one. Start planning your second as soon as you have your first. And it sounds so much harder than it is. But once you have your initial deposit, save to get that. Do whatever you have to do to get it. Whether, don't feel bad to use people around you. Like, there's no reason, nothing wrong with saying to your parents, fuck mum, I really want mum and dad, anything you can do to help me. Ask someone around you that might have access to be able to lend you money. Like, do whatever you have to do. Use the people around you if possible. If not, you just got to save and save and save. But use every single resource around you. Use them as a tool. Like, use people that want to help you to get there. And don't feel bad about doing that. Because I'll tell you right now, I didn't buy my first house without help and advice from a million other people around me. My mum and dad helped guarantor my loan so I could get the loan. Managed to save up my tiny little deposit to get my first little unit, but they helped me guarantee the loan, and like I was lucky enough to have that in my life. But use the research you can to get there if you have to, and if you can't, all good. Just go to a million lenders and get told 50 no's, and don't take no for an answer because it's pretty hard right now. It really is. Yeah,
I love that advice so much, and I would love to hear your perspective on financial success in correlation with mindset.
Financial success in correlation with mindset.
So in regards to like what makes someone successful versus not, do you believe that potentially, like, how much mindset is involved in that?
100%. It's all mindset, I think. And I was like, I actually look up to some of the things you say. Like, there was so many times back in the day, like, oh, fucking mindset, all this shit. I was like, it's a load of fucking crap. It's so fucking not, dude. It's so important. And I learned that a lot of that from my wife as well. My mum and dad have got really happy, strong mindsets. Like, and I was like, whatever, can I fucking do it? Mindset, all this shit. But it's so true. Like, having confidence and backing yourself, having positive affirmation, manifesting. Like, it all sounds like weird, but it's so true. Like, if you're mentally telling yourself you can do anything, if you put your mind to it, you can truly can. You honestly can. You just have to back yourself 100% and do the things. Do the thoughts you come up with, actually action them. Yeah. Yeah. I guarantee anyone can sit there and go, I need to save $20,000 to buy this little 1-bedroom unit. They can do all the math. But if you don't actually action it and tell yourself you can do it and do the things you need to do it, you ain't going to fucking do it, are you?
100%. And I really resonate with that in regards to, I've had many people slide into my DMs about, they're feeling overwhelmed with all the ideas that they have. And the fact that they're feeling overwhelmed is because they're not actioning any of them. So they've got all these ideas and inspirations to go and like do the thing every single day. It's a new idea. But none of them are getting the person off their ass to go and do the thing. It's because then they result in that overwhelm feeling, that stress, that anxiety of like, oh my gosh, I have too many ideas. It's like, well, if you actually just go and action one of them, then everything is going to sort itself out. It's like in a few episodes ago with Adam Hollyoak, I spoke about your energy being a bucket, and the more ideas you have that you don't follow through on, the energy starts to leak out of your bucket and you start to feel tired, sluggish, slow, procrastination. But as soon as you start getting an idea, action it. As soon as you start getting another idea, action it, and you start to patch up all the holes in your bucket and you have more energy. You start become driven, success,
so
and
true.
You achieve exactly what you want to do.
Yeah, and it's so true. Like I always said, like with ADHD, that I call it reaching capacity. And if your bucket's at capacity, all the new ideas and all the old ideas you had that you haven't fucking done anything with, it's going to fall off the bucket, aren't they? Like you said, fall out the bottom. So like, yeah, just action everything instantly. Like I always like to write a list.
Yes, I was just about to say that. Yeah.
Well, actually, my amazing assistant, I email myself and she piles it all together for me.
Nice.
But every day is run off a list.
Yeah.
And it's just like, tick, I achieved something today. Well done.
Yeah.
Might be the dumbest thing, like take the fucking bins out. No matter what it is. There'll be some hectic shit. But like it's just.
And you feel accomplished because you get to tick it off, right?
Yeah. And if I haven't got like if there's something on the list that can't be done till the next day, I'm like, fuck, how can I do that now? Like, got to get that done now. And it just gives you time. Like once your list is done, it's like, oh, I can focus on some other things now.
Yeah.
But yeah, what you're saying before about like having 50 billion ideas. Like I'd imagine you talk about someone that's like wants to start a startup or they got a new business idea. That's great, but like focus on something that you think you can do. You know what I mean? Don't try and have 15 different things on the go. You'll never achieve any of them. Take you 5 years to achieve one. Mm-hmm. Focus on the one good one and go for it.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. It's just where your focus goes, your energy flows. Like if you're focusing on multiple different things, you're not going to be able to give your full effort and attention to each thing individually. Like it's just spread thin. But if you have that one focus, you can put everything and all of you got into that. And I know, even from my personal experience, and I'm sure from yours as well, you'd be able to resonate that when you do put everything you've got into that thing that you want, everything just starts to work out for itself.
100%. Yeah, I truly believe the universe will follow like the direction you want to take it. Mm-hmm. And if you like put your energy into something and do good things for others and like do good karma for people, like if you do the right thing and channel your energy into one thing and do exactly what you just said, it will come for you.
Yeah. And I know in Simon's podcast episode, when we spoke, he mentioned that a lot of people talk about luck. When he explained it, that luck is when preparedness meets opportunity. So if you are so focused and you have actioned all of those ideas and the things that you have had and that come through, and you keep doing the things, taking action, and you're getting prepared, getting ready to be ready, when that opportunity does present itself, you are so ready to say yes.
100%. And like a perfect example of that is you can talk all you want about how much you want to buy a fucking piece of real estate and I want to do this and I want to do that. But if you haven't got your deposit there, you haven't done your due diligence, you haven't spoken to a bank, you haven't got your loan approved, you're not ready, you keep going to open homes with nothing approved, all of a sudden you're going to go through an open home, there's going to be a fucking absolute nick there you can buy and you ain't going to be ready and someone like me is going to come and fucking buy it.
Yeah, 100%. So I'm curious then to know, like, what would be your step-by-step instructions for someone that is wanting to get into the property market? Like, what would be step one to whatever to get to that point?
Step one would be talk to a broker or a bank, find out what you're eligible to borrow. That's the first thing, because there's no point going to a $2 million open home if you can borrow $500,000. So go to a bank, bring your pay slips, bring all your information, and ask your bank how much you're eligible to lend. You're going to need some savings behind you. So they're generally going to lend you 80% of the value of the property. So you got to come up with the other 20, and you got to come up with your stamps. Stamp duty.
Right.
And this is your first home. I'm not totally sure what the grants are at the moment, but there will be some form of discount there. But know what you can afford, know what you got the money for, and or know the gap you have to bridge to get your 20%. So yeah, get prepared in that way. Like you said before, have your preparation ready to go. And then when something comes, go and pounce on it. Mm-hmm. But get your money sorted first, because if you don't have it, you need some savings there to go. Like you can't do it without it. Get that ready first, and then start going to every open home you can possibly go to. A lot of people will still send me a house they've looked at and go, oh, I really like this house. I'm like, how many houses have you looked at so far? Or like, oh, this is the first one. Like, this is the one. It's just lucky I found it. And I just think that's so wrong. Like, I always was taught, like, Simon actually taught me this. He's like, go to 100 open homes, offer 100 open homes 30 or 40% less than what the properties were. And eventually someone's going to say yes. Mm-hmm. Don't emotionally buy, you know what I mean? But like, go to the open homes, get a feel for the market, feel what stuff going for, understand what you're buying and understand what's cheap, because you need to buy cheap. That's how you make your money. And it's very hard. Like, it's very easy to sit here and say that. But if you go to 2 open homes and you put an offer in both of them and you're paying too much, it doesn't work like that. You just need to go through multiple homes to get your bargain. But you just, answer to your question is buy cheap.
Yeah.
Was that even what you asked me?
Yes. Yeah, step-by-step instructions. So to recap, what you just said is to talk to your broker.
Yep.
Get your everything in order. Get your affairs in order. Get prepared, so save.
Yep.
Get your savings right. And then go do your research. Go explore all the open homes.
Yeah.
Don't just go to one and emotionally buy because it's your dream home.
Yeah. Yeah, go to a billion. And then that's the other thing I was going to say was your first house ain't your forever home. Unless you win the lottery and you're buying a fucking house on the beach first go. Your first home's your bridging piece. Your first home might be 30 Ks out from where you want to live. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. That's how you get into your first home. Yeah, don't emotionally buy. That's another really good thing. If it's your first home, buy what you can afford. Buy what's going to make you money, whether it's capital growth or it's like good rental growth. But you do want a group of the two, like good capital growth, like good growth rise in the property, good growth rise in your rental income, and then also like good things you can do to the property to make it grow even more. So much to it, eh?
I love it. That is super helpful advice, and I'm sure that those who are listening to this right now got a lot from what you've had to say today. So, Eddie, I'm curious, where can my listeners find you if they want to learn more about what you do or want to hire you for a job, etc.?
So they can look at Beith Building on Instagram, Total Concept Pools on Instagram, or it's under Gold Coast Pool Builder, or you can see some of our personal projects on Renovating Mates. That's mine and Perry's page of just some of the homes we build to sell. Or you can just follow me at Eddie Beith.
And that's, how do you spell that?
EDDIE and then space Beith, BEITH.
BEITH. Awesome. So, Eddie, I have one last question for you today before we wrap it up. So, the question is, if you were to channel in the first thing that comes to your mind, what would be the advice that you think the listeners need to hear right now? And it doesn't have to relate to what we've spoken about today, but what is one piece of advice that you believe they need to hear right now?
This is an interesting one. Nothing we've spoken about today is how good is fucking living?
Ooh.
How good is it?
It's amazing.
It's the best thing in the world, eh?
It's freaking awesome.
That would be the biggest advice I would tell anyone is live by that word. Say that every day. Like I use that that's like my positive affirmation. I say to myself, how good's living, bro? It's fucking bang.
You do say that.
Yeah, how good's living, cunt. It's the best thing in the world. Because I've felt like shit so many times. But don't get me wrong, I haven't felt like shit my whole life. You just have ups and downs and ups and downs.
Course.
And by saying that every day, you feel fucking amazing. And when you're happy, the money will come.
Yeah.
Like you need to be happy to be focused.
Yeah.
You need to be happy to do anything, true? If you're miserable, how are you going to focus on your goal? If you're miserable, how are you going to get the money? If you're miserable, how are you going to get a girlfriend or a boyfriend? Or be happy, live life. How good's living?
Oh, I love that so much, Eddie. Thank you so much for today. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you here.
No worries.
And I am sure all the listeners that have tuned in today have enjoyed this chat. And yeah, I'm super excited to see what else you create from this energy. And yeah, thank you so much for sharing your journey today.
Thanks for having me. That was so much easier than I thought.
You did awesome. You did awesome.
Thank you for being a part of the Generation Elevation community. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to leave a 5-star rating, written review, share, and tag me on Instagram at elise.riley. Until next time, keep loving, keep learning, and keep rising.